Yeah, hello and welcome. My name is Python V, and in this particular tutorial, we'll be looking at mobile responsiveness. We'll be looking at um, JavaScript, Nav Bar icon, how to display it and how to remove it. So today, I'm looking at responsiveness in a nutshell, and I'm telling you how responsiveness works. Now, you've been working with CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, and if you have not been working with JavaScript, let's say in HTML and CSS. So I have three files here. One is index.html, one is style.css. I'm going to create another one which is called app.js. In this particular lesson, I will not be looking into anything about JavaScript much, but I will teach you what you can do with JavaScript a little, because JavaScript is a standalone course on its own. So we have our index.html and our style.css. I'm going to remove this. As I said earlier, it's always very important to format your CSS page with these lines of code. So the meaning of this star means everything in HTML. It means grab all the elements in HTML and add what? A margin of 0, a padding of what? 0, and a box sizing of border box. This is very important. I will go to another video what this actually means. Now let's dive into responsiveness. Responsiveness is how your website look when it's below this width and when it's above this width. Because when we talk about website, we're only concerned about the width. That means from here down here, we're not concerned about the height, because the height could be infinity. We are not really concerned about the height of the device. We are concerned about the width of the device, because the width of the device is going to change from mobile devices to laptops, from laptops to computer screens, and so many more. And we need media query to handle such thing. Now, let's say we have a box here. Let me create a div, and let me give it a class of box. So I'll come to my style.css, and I'm going to style this box as usual. So I'm going to give it a border of 1px solid red. I will give it a width of 100 pixels so that we can see it. I'm going to give it a height of 100 UH. So let me save this. Now, as you can see, this is it here. So let me just increase the width. Instead of 100 pixels, let me make it 50% so that it can be half of the screen. So I'll make this one to be 3. Now, this is the initial, the initial responsiveness of this box, or the initial, the initial width of this box. Now, if I want to add a media query, I'll just go here to the add sign, and you can see media screen. I can remove this one, and I can add a max width from here. So what this means is, what CSS styling do you want to add for anything that is from 0 to 900 pixels? So I can say the body, the background color should be aqua. Now, can you see it's aqua? Now, if I increase this guy here, it changes. So let me inspect this page. Let me come back here. Let me make it responsive. Now, let's look at this bar here. We're looking at this one here. This one means the height. We're not looking at the height, we're looking at what? The width here. So once I'm increasing it and it gets to 900, it changes to white. So the CSS I added here is anything from 0 to 900, make the body, the background color should be this color. That is media query for you. Now I can come and I say the box, the width this time should be 100%, but the height should be half. So I will say the height should be 50 UH. So once I save this and I go below 900, can you see now that the width has changed, the height has changed? Now this container is looking like this, but once it goes above 900, it's looking like this. Those are media queries for you. We have different media query landscapes or whatever. So if I come and I turn this one back to phone mode and I increase it below 900, can we see? So that's media query for you. Just the basic of media query. There are many things you can do with media query. Now, it is always advisable that when you're having text like H2, we have Victor, you're having paragraph as David. Now I'll pick the H2 here and I'll give it a font size of 3 rem. Now the meaning of 3 rem is 1 rem is equals to 16 pixels. So it's always very important for you to use rem when you are giving your font sizes. Use rem. For padding and margin, give em. So 1 rem is equals to 16 pixels. So this 3 rem I put here means 3 times 16. So if I remove this and I save the page, you see that it's bigger. I'll come for P and I'm going to give it font size 2 rem. So we have something like this. Let me reduce the so let me put this on by this side. So we just draw here. I'm going to remove this guy here. Okay. So I will still put it in a way that we can see, but let me just. So now we have these two guys here like this. Now if I come to inspect this page, and let me drag this one to this side, and I use this is when it's not a mobile device, and this is when it's a mobile device. Now if I want to increase this text, maybe I want this one to be very big on desktop. I come here, I said, okay, let this one be 13 rem, let this one be 21 rem. Now, can we see that it's kind of big, even on mobile? Now, why it's good to use rem is that once I come to the media query, I can just come down and put HTML, or I can use HTML, and I can reduce the font size. Now the default font size is 16 pixels. Now I cannot trim down this font size to be 0. So all these guys here that were 1 rem is equals to 16 pixels become 1 rem is equals to what? 10. So if I save it, it reduces. So that's why it's always good to use rem. If we used pixels here, to trim it or to control it from the HTML in your media query is always difficult. So now if I come and I make it 8, now this one that was 13 rem, that is 13 times, this one that was 13 times 16 before, once I change the font size to 8 pixels, will now be 8 times 13 rem. So this is the new value. Why this one, which was 13 times, or let me use 16 pixels times 13 rem. Now this one will enable us to trim the value because this is new pixel. Because here the default font size is 16 pixels. You see, nothing is going to happen. But once you come here, you can change. So if I come here and I put 2, you see it reduces. That's why it's always good to use. So for your text, always use your rem so that you can get, it will be easier for you to reduce the font size. You don't want to start picking all the H1, looking for some text, you give some. So it's always good enough for you to use your rem so that you can trim everything down. So you can just trim them down to maybe 10 and they have a better, look. That is media query for you. So there are a lot of media query you can have in in this. Now let's say this is the box. Inside the box, I can come and give the box. Let me remove this guy here since we don't need them again. And so I give the box display flex. So I think okay. I can give it display flex, as you can see here. Let me remove this one to 11, this one to be 8. So as you can see, let me make this one 8. Now I give it the both of them display flex. I want them to be straight on, on desktop, but I want them to come down on mobile. So on mobile, I will take that box. So instead of display flex, it's still display flex because it goes down. Display flex go down to this. So instead of after display flex, I can now say flex direction should be now column. Now it looks like, so here the default of flex direction here normally is row. So I've changed it to column. So whenever I increase this, it comes back to column here, to row here. Then when I go below 900, it comes back to, to column. So I can come here and say, okay, I don't want, I don't want display flex. I want inline. So I can come here and I say display is equals to inline, and we have this. So once I come here, I go out of here, I get the flex. Once I come inside of here, I get the inline. So that's display, that is mobile responsiveness for you. So I don't have a full website where I can just go into this thing, in a whole, but it's always advisable. So the last example I'm going to do now is the Nav Bar example. So I'm going to remove all these guys here. So I'm going to remove the inline here. So instead of remove this one here, I don't know this one. So I want to create a nav bar so that you can see. So instead of 100 view reach, I'll make it 10 because I'm trying to create a nav bar. So I'm going to make the background color should be black. I'll make all the text inside, they should be white so that we can see them. So inside here, I'm going to have a H1, I'm going to call it logo, and the other one is a nav, and I'm going to put some stuff inside. I'm going to say home. I'm going to say about. I'm going to say contact. So as you can see now, I have all of them inside box. So I can use the box to control how all of them are, how all of them are displayed. So I can come to the box. I've activated display flex. I can see align items should be to center. All of them will come down to the center. I can say justify content space between. So we have them between. I'm going to give a padding so that I don't want anything at the top. So left and right, I'll just give it like 2 EM. I say not pixels. So it's going to put them in the middle. Then I'm going to target all the A so that I can have let me remove all these ones here. I'm not using them. So that's the anchor tag. So I'm going to target all the A. I'm going to have the color should be white like this. I'm going to give it a display flex also. Now I'm giving it a display flex here. Then flex no, not the A, sorry, not the A, the A is not the container. The container is the nav. So it's the nav we are supposed to give display flex so that I can do the align the children very well. So display flex on the, so yeah, so I can say gap, that there can be spacing between them. I can say gap 10 pixels, something like this. So I've done that. Now I want to make sure that once I get to, if I inspect here, why am I having this? Okay, I think I have an issue. Okay, width 50%. No, I want the width to be 100. In short, I don't need the width because the width will, grow on default, something like this. So I want whereby when you come to um when you come less than 600 pixels, I want these guys to go away, and I want the icon should come, an icon like the menu icon. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come back here to this place. So I'm going to create the menu icon first. Let me create the menu icon. So the menu icon will be here. So I'm just going to put a div, and let me just look for an icon, Windows dot. Let me use this icon here. So can you see the icon here? But I don't want to display it on big screen. I don't want to display it on this big screen. So I'm going to come here, go to my style, or let me give it a class. So I'm going to give it a class. I'm going to call it menu. Now I'm going to come to my style. Now make sure that not inside the media query, like the normal one, the one that is meant for the one that is meant for the what are they calling it? The desktop. So I'm going to say dot menu. I'm going to put display should be none. I don't want to see it on menu. As you can see, I don't want to see it here. But when I get below 700, I want to see it, but I don't want to see this guy. So I'm going to create another media query here, down here at media. So I'm going to come here. Then I'll put my list. I'll say max width this time is 700 pixels. Now make sure that the biggest size stay on top the lower size. So this one must not come before this one. So now say dot menu display should be block. So I want to see it. So now can you see where I see it? But I don't want to see these guys on. I don't want to see these guys on this thing. So the name of that one is nav. So now I put display is block. No, display is none. So as you can see now, you can't find it again. But once you go above 700, you see we can see it. You cannot see that now. Once you come below it, then we can see it. Now we don't want to do this first. As you can see now, we want to style it in a way that we can actually see it. So what I want to do is that I will say position should be absolute. I want to remove the nav away. That's it on top here. So I'm going to say top should be 0, left should be 0. So that we can see what we're doing, I'm going to give the background color of white. Can you see it up? I'm going to give it a height of, so that we can see very 50 VH. So let's make the color black. So I think that'll be okay. So the A is not shown, so I'll say A is equals to black. Sorry, color is black, so we can see it now. Now can we see it now? So it's here already. Here. Now I want to change the display. So instead of display none, I'm going to use display flex. Now this does not affect. It does not affect the big screen. If we go to the big screen, can we see that it's different? We are styling it differently on the small screen. So if I come here, I want the flex direction should be column so that they can stay line by line. Let me give it a padding of 3 em so that they can be spaced. Align items should be center and justify content should be center, so they are like this. And I will give it a gap of 3 rem, so something like this. Let me make it 5. So now can we see it? Then I will now say, as you can see, the height is 50 VH. Then I can come here and I say overflow. I need the overflow should be hidden. Then I'll say the width to be 0. So the width should be 0. And let me remove the, why we are having this one showing is because of this pattern. I think now we can't see it anymore. So I'm going to make the padding to be 0.2. So let me just, as you can see, padding is 0. Now we've styled it. So once you finish styling it to your taste, you make the width 0, you make the padding 0 because you don't want to see it. That's when our JavaScript will now come in. That's where the JavaScript will now come in. So I'm going to go back to here, this div here. So instead of using div, I'm going to use button. So I'm going to put this class inside, Control X. I'm going to put it inside. I'm going to cut this one here. I'm going to put it inside, so I'll save it. So as you can see now we have something. Why I did like that, because I want to be able to click on it. So here I'm going to create a JavaScript function. Now we're going to introduce the JavaScript because we want to use the JavaScript to turn this width from 0 to maybe 50% and this padding to 3 em. I will explain in a bit. So one last thing I'll add here is transition. I'll put 0.5 seconds. I will explain this later. So now for us to use our JavaScript, I'll come to the body here and I'll press script and I'll type src. I'll look for it, which is app.js. So this is what I want to do. Now I want to get this button. It's very important for me to get this button. But you know what? Let me not stress myself. Let me not open another this. I want to do it down here. So I'll open here as script. Now I want to get this button. I'll say let btn is, it's normal convention in JavaScript that when you want to create a variable, you use the word let. It's just like let my name is equals to Victor. Let his name is equals to Daniel. So I want to grab this guy here because JavaScript need to grab this guy here and save it somewhere. So let btn is equals to, we use document dot query selector. Then what is the selector? We want to get it with the class. So the class is dot menu. That's how it works. But we're not going to use this one. We're not going to use this one. I'm going to create a function. A function is like that thing in your laptop where you click power off and your laptop power off. I'm going to create a function. And to create a function, I'll just type function and I'll just call it open menu. So this is how to create a function. So here I'm going to put on click and I'm going to put the name of that function, open menu. So what this means is that once you click on this button, it's going to open a menu. So here I'm going to come down and say alert. Let's try it if it's going to work. Alert, hi. So anytime we come here, I will click this button here, it's going to alert hi. So that's the work of on click. So on click means run anything under this function. And what we want to run is, we want to get the button, the nav here. So this nav here. So I'll say let nav is equals to document dot query selector, and I'm going to put nav. Now because it's a tag, we use nav. If it is a class, we have to put the dot. If it's an ID, we have to put the hash. But because it's a nav, I'm going to put nav. So let us console.log what we have saved. So we have said you should go and get the document. So it's going to get this guy, nav, everything that is here, and it's going to put it inside what? This small variable here. So let us save it and let's run. Let me come to my console so we can see that is the meaning of console.log. So once I click here, can you see I've seen the nav here? So it saved it and put it here because JavaScript needs that. So this one is working. I have saved it. I have gotten this document and I have saved it inside this variable nav. So now what I want to do is that nav, I want to dot style. I want to change the style. Dot, what are we working on? Width. And I say the width should be equals to, I'll put a string and I'll say 50%. Another thing I want to do is nav dot style dot padding. I need the padding. You know, we cleared the padding. We made it 0, and I'll say 3 EM. So once I save this, we cross our finger. It's going to work. If I click here, can we see? So that's how it works. So can you create an X button here? Now when you click it, it's going to close this guy back. It's just by trying. It's just by replicating this code. So instead of open menu, it will be close menu. Then where are you going to put the on click? Is it here inside this place? Just I want to see how you're going to think of it. So that's how to create a nav. So if I come back here, you find out that we don't see it here. But if I come down to this point and I click here, we get to see the nav. And that's how to just create a simple navigation in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So try and see how you can. We can use many methods. You can use toggle the class, but this is the simplest I want you to go. I want to have you have a X cancel here. The cancel can be here, the cancel can be up. Just make sure you click the cancel and it works. So that is the today's class, and I want you to just give it a try. Don't get scared. This is the first time you might be doing JavaScript, but don't get scared. All this is let nav. It's just like you are creating a container. Maybe I'm creating a container called my book, and what I'm storing inside my book is the name of a book. Maybe let me say Tempest. So I'm storing the name Tempest inside my book. So it's just a variable, like putting something inside the container. So the container is nav, and I'm saying document. So this one is going to go and grab anything inside HTML because there's a bridge. The bridge is that this is a JavaScript and this is HTML. So for us to enter into the portal of HTML, we need to use document.querySelector. So it's going to go and query the selector. You can query it by the tag, by the class, or by the ID. So there's more videos that will still come up on this, but this is the best I can go right now. Thank you, and we'll still be looking into more responsive video in HTML and CSS. My name is Python V, and I'll catch you in a later lesson. Thank you very much.